Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk, and get ready for a hearty dose of awe and or shock and a grumbling and a groaning about how 8-year-old Rawk decided to spend his pocket money. Because I am about to rock your world. I've never been a fan of Zelda. Yep, expected that. Truth be told though, I have a pretty interesting history with the franchise, despite having only played a cripplingly low handful of games. That isn't a resume builder, I don't know what is. The Legend of Zelda. Oh god, what a beloved franchise! Ever since the original released in 1986, this series has garnered a massive, almost cult-worthy following, and is regarded by many as Nintendo's greatest series. Not me though! Each and every Nintendo console has received an entry in this series, eventually, and while not seeing the sales quite as large as Mario, builds up gargantuan levels of hype among the community. Now I've won my fair share of Nintendo consoles, far from all of them, which just won't stop hurting me, but enough to be more than aware of this series' existence. So you may ask, how many games have I played? Just disregard me already. Yeah, my first rodeo with the series was 31 years after the original game released. That's almost twice my lifetime. That's pathetic. You see, I'm a little something we like to call fucking worthless, and I got my Switch for Christmas of 2017. I was told to choose 5 games to get with it, and this was big boy decision time. These would be the only games I had for ages until I inevitably bought Kirby Star Allies at launch 3 months later. Naturally, I chose Super Mario Odyssey, the game that made me look at this thing and say, I want that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, an enhanced port of one of my favourite Wii U games, a no-brainer really. Splatoon 2, the sequel to another one of my favourite Wii U games. I got fucking Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That decision still baffles me to this day, but whatever. I had one precious game left that I could get. And seeing as the Switch hadn't even been out a year yet and my only other option was Cars 3 Driven to Win, I chose Breath of the Wild. I'd heard from a friend that it was good, and that's about it. This game was never on my radar. At all. You see, I never understood what any of this was. But that didn't stop me from saying, fuck it, I'll get that one. Don't get me wrong, I massively respect the Zelda franchise, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I can see that these games are masterfully crafted, beautiful pieces of art. The game world and lore fascinated me to no end, and I'm genuinely excited for the future of the series. But I'd still never swapped spit with any entry in this series, so the thought of losing my Zelda virginity on the Switch was an intriguing one. Christmas Day rolls around and with no expectations in tow I played not Breath of the Wild, that's for sure. I mean, come on, Mario Odyssey. Boxing Day rolls around and with no expectations in tow I popped in the cartridge ready to embark on a quest to answer the question that had been looming in my mind for years. What the fuck is a Zelda?
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Wake up, Link.
I fucking hate waking up. This is a bad first impression. Better leave this close by, just in case. I learned 3 things after my first play session. 1. What the fuck? That's not Zelda? 2. I still don't get any of this, but when you add this, I like it. And 3. This game is good at serving my arse on fine china. Around each and every corner lay a can of ass whooping for me to fall victim to. I assumed it was because I was new to the series, and I didn't get anything. But nope, turns out Breath of the Wild just likes to hand out smackdowns like they're going out of fashion. Weirdly enough though, the challenge motivated me to move forward, and I went on to beat the game. After beating Breath of the Wild and by extension, my first ever Zelda game, I can now officially say that this game makes me wet. Breath of the Wild is a magical experience, one that I'll probably cherish for the rest of my life. I'm obnoxiously aware of how amazing of a game it is based on its own merits. Believe me, I've been on the internet, and I've played Arthritis the game. But I feel like a substantial amount of the magic of the game came from my lack of history with the series. I knew nothing about this game going in, meaning my playthrough was completely and utterly blind, I hadn't even watched a single trailer for the game, and this meant that everything the game had to offer, I was able to experience for myself at my own pace. In tandem with knowing nothing about the game, I also had zero expectations for it, which I feel worked remarkably in my favour. Each and every mind-blowing element of this masterpiece was punctuated by the fact that I had no expectations for the game to live up to. It was simply a game that I experienced and fell head over heels for. Now 100% in the game? No thank you. Do I look like a masochist to you? It's for the best if that remains rhetorical. I truly believe that everyone should play Breath of the Wild, even if you aren't a Zelda fan. Hell, this is coming from your local fan of all things, not this. So, 260 hours and one beautiful masterpiece later, and I finally lost my Zelda virginity. However, I was well aware that Breath of the Wild was drastically different to the other Zelda games, so I entertained the idea of playing a more traditional entry. After Breath of the Wild, did I start playing a new entry? Did I look into buying one? Did I look at which one I should start with? After Breath of the Wild, I actively had no interest in playing another Zelda game. I had just dedicated 260 hours of my life to Breath of the Wild, and I was ready to take a break. That's pussy speak for I loved Breath of the Wild, but I wasn't ready to immediately throw cash at the rest of the series. So I took a hiatus from the series, until the fateful day of February 13th, 2019. A Nintendo Direct aired that day, and the final announcement was for a full-blown remake of The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. Now, I don't know how, but I looked at these and said, yep, whatever. I looked at this and said, take my money. So I bought Link's Awakening, a month after it released. Link's Awakening was an interesting choice for my next Zelda adventure, being a 2D or top-down Zelda as opposed to the traditional 3D formula. But nevertheless, I was excited to give it a go. Now I don't know if this is because I'm an idiot, or because I'm still very unfamiliar with Zelda, but trying to find where to go in this game was like being a blind man trying to guess the colour of a friend's Joy-Con from a mile away because fuck. I specifically remember one part where I was trying to get to the other side of the island, and after an hour of trying, I looked up a guide, and the answer was just, hit this bush with your sword that you never would have guessed to hit in a million years. That's not a fun challenge, that's just dumb! But, despite the tedium that came alongside trying to beat this game, I had a wicked solid time with it. Is this game on par with Breath of the Wild? Are you f***ing kidding me? Of course not. Is this game still an amazing experience by itself? Are you f***ing kidding me? Of course. This game is great, and I'd still argue it's worth your time, just as long as you're okay with looking up a guide or two. So, that's it. That's all the Zelda games I've played. I know, pretty disappointing. My Zelda radar's going off. Surely there isn't an unplayed Zelda game in the vicinity. I double-checked. The sound's coming from my game collection. I guess that's where I'll have to go check. What? How does this make sense? So it turns out I have the Zelda Collector's Edition, which contains every game prior to Wind Waker. What? Background time. Pre-ordering Mario Kart Double Dash gave players a version of the game that included a slick bonus disc, which included some demos of some high-profile upcoming GameCube games and Ninja Turtles. The two discs came in a box that's sure to send any doctor into a state of panic. More background time. The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition released in November of 2003 to commemorate something, I guess? The game came in a standalone box, as most games tend to do. Seeing as I got Double Dash pre-owned, my guess is that some bum looked at this and said, alright, I love being scammed! And sold two full-price games for the price of one pre-owned one to yours truly. This means I have all the pre-Wind Waker Zeldas. This means I have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. This means I have a chance to see the Zelda franchise for what it was. I have a chance to see what I've been missing out on for all these years.
Will Rawk ever take the plunge? Will he ever have a true pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda experience? Will he ever beat one of the games?
Probably f***ing not.